Welcome back to Leichhardt. The crowd getting right behind their Balmain Tigers, but more specifically, their captain for this evening's match against Manly, Paul Sirenen. Another young Tiger supporter. As we mentioned, there are many thousands of them here this evening for this crucial game against the reigning premiers. Paul Sirenen, they're celebrating his 200th first-grade game for Balmain this evening.
Well, they've certainly set the scene for a great night for the Balmain club. The lower grades have both had nail-biting victories. 2-point victory in the under-20s, 2-point victory in the reserve grade, got this crowd on its feet. And now their favourite son, Paul Sirenen, celebrating his 200th game. The atmosphere here, one of very positive support for the Balmain club.
Here come the Tigers, led out by Paul Sirenen in his 200th first-grade game. At the back, Tim Brasher, James Langaloa and Gary Edwards on the wings. Kennedy and Donaghy, who came from the Manly club, are in the centres. The halves are Hanley and Gillette. In the forwards, Morrison off the back, O'Neill and Stimson in the second row, and Sirenen centre and Shane Walker are in the front row.
Paul Sirenen up front, Ellery Hanley in the halves, and Tim Brasher at the back provide this experience in this side, and no doubt coach Wayne Pearce will be looking to those players in a pressure match against last year's premiers. Here come the Tigers now out onto the field. A couple of players who last year made a good impact in rugby league. Young Glenn Morrison, the lock forward for Balmain club. I know they've got high hopes for him. A professional footballer now, has put on a lot of weight during the off-season. He's looking for a big season. William Bubba Kennedy, who made his first-grade Optus debut at 27 years of age, had a great season for the club, and he's looking to back up that good first year.
Here come the reigning premiers. Craig Hancock slips into the #1 jersey, vacated by Matthew Ridge. The wings, Moore and Hopewati. Craig Innes and Terry Hill in the centres. The halves, Tuvey and Field. Off the back, Nick Kosef. Then Gardner and Menzies in the second row, and the front row is Carroll, Sidaris and David Gillespie. Here has been one of the critical off-season signings, Craig Field. He comes in to halfback this evening, and I guess Phil Gould will all be waiting to see what sort of combination he can get with Jeff Tuvey.
Yeah, they're both very, very good footballers, and whatever they do tonight, they'll improve on. This will be the first of a number of games they're going to have together to get that combination going. I think the big thing for the Manly club tonight is the non-appearance of Cliff Lyons in the 17. It puts a lot of responsibility on Nick Kosef, who has been wonderfully groomed by Bob Fulton over the past couple of years into the major ball-playing role. And I don't think they're going to lose anything in that department tonight. They're playing against a very enthusiastic and pumped-up Balmain side here at Leichhardt Oval for the first team. They won't get it all their own way. You would have to expect, however, the big match experience of these Manly players should see them finish a little too strong in the end. But I think we're in for a great game of football, and we're underway.
One of the young fans here is going to have the honour of kicking the football to welcome the Tigers back to Leichhardt Oval. For the first time since August 1994. Only two of the Tigers involved in tonight's match were playing that day. One of them is the #1, Tim Brasher. The other one, of course, is Mark O'Neill in the second row, who had only just turned 19 and came off the bench that night. By comparison, and that really tells the tale of these two teams, Manly have 10 players backing up from that same round of football 2.5 years ago. We're underway as Tim Brasher kicks off at Leichhardt Oval. It comes down to Mark Carroll, and he will be met by some stern Tiger defence. Walker, Sirenen, and it was Stimson as well. Just trying to get the feel of the ball in the early exchanges. Good pace from Kosef. Sidaris works the blind. Again, he's met 38 metres out from his own line. Tuvey from dummy half brings in Carroll. He's belted back in the tackle. That is the sort of defence that this 10 or 12,000 Balmain fans have come to see. Stepping off one, goes to the air, Craig Field, his first touch in a Manly jersey. And it's a great kick too.
Yeah, nice confident start by both sides there. Manly working it out under pressure. Balmain getting up. Some big hits there, and Craig Field with his first touch of the ball finds touch only 5 metres out from the Balmain line. The scrum will come out to the 10-metre zone. good confident start. Good indication of the increased strength and size there of Glenn Morrison, aiming up on Mark Carroll and able to get a real good hit on. Strength and size will be a big confidence booster to that young player.
And also we're seeing already this evening Jason Taylor, the good kicking game of Craigfield.
Yeah, for sure, Eric. I think that's going to feature importantly in this game. There's not much wind down here to speak of. It's not really going to favour anybody too much in this game. The crowd is great. They're really going to get behind the Balmain side tonight. I think we saw it in reserve grade, the way they got behind them towards the end. So I think it's going to be a close game here.
Well, we certainly have the backing of that in both the under-20s and second grade. Two-point wins for Balmain as they work the ball away from their own line up to the 30-metre line. They swarm to the left. Sirinen puts it down. Morrison picks it up. It's gone back. And so the Tigers will play it. The pinch out of dummy half from Darren Centre. He offloads the ball, gets it out wide now. This is Donaghy. Used to play for Manly but couldn't find any way into the first grade team because, of course, that's where Craig Ennis and Terry Hill were as Brasher goes to the boot. Well, he finds he has the same problem here tonight. He's still got to get past Hill and Ennis. This is Moore. Danny Moore met in the tackle of Hanley on the 30-metre line. And there's a penalty. Hanley going on with the tackle.
Yeah, just a little long in the tackle there for the referee's liking. He'll like to stamp some authority on the game early as well. You can play all the trials in the world you like, train as hard as you like, but there's nothing like when the premiership starts, and it just creates that little bit more nervousness, that little bit of extra adrenaline. And the game steps up 2 or 3 paces, and this is what it's all about. These players will be just loving getting back on the field in a competitive state.
Of course, Balmain coach Wayne Pearce has rested his key players throughout the trials, and this is really their first strong run out through the season. This is Manly, though. They use the left-hand side of the field. Donaghy brings down Terry Hill. Beg your pardon, it was Daniel Gartner. Kosef. Tuvey. Field. The run around is Hancock into the line. He's met in the tackle of Tim Brasher.
Very interesting, Craig Field playing at 5'8" in that particular movement, using his ball-playing talent out on the edge. Jeff Tuvey aimed up at halfback and got the ball wide to him. Now we'll see Field in the halfback spot at number 7, looking for the 5th tackle kick option.
And the kick through from Field. Menzies was brought down and back play, was he? No. Referee Kelvin Jeffs says play on, and Ellery Hanley does just that.
He was lucky he fell over. Then Stephen Menzies had allowed the Balmain player to get the ball out of his in-goal. You see here racing through. I think Gary was taken out of the play, missed there by the linesman and the referee. That just allowed the winger to be able to get up and force his way back into the field of play. Now Balmain will get a relieving penalty.
Daniel Gartner, one of the players who really came on for Bob Fulton last year. He's been with the club a few years now. It's his 7th year with Manly. But it'd be fair to say, Phil Gould, that last year he really stepped, or took that extra step.
He did. A lot of these players will mature from season to season, particularly the young blokes. Regardless of their achievements in one year, there will be improvement the following season. It's only natural that their progression takes that sort of road.
The Tigers in possession now through Shane Walker. Gets 5 metres inside Manly territory. They work it left. This is Gillette. Morrison can't get through the tackle of Tuvey. He had Kennedy in support, didn't use him. Into dummy half now. This is Hanley. The long cutout ball from Gillette. The inside ball. But the Manly defence is strong, and now they come back at them through Stephen Menzies.
Yeah, both sides being very adventurous early. They were out here for a long time warming up before the game. Customary the first 10 or 15 minutes used to be a settling in period. Nowadays the players are ready to go from the time they take the field, and they're not afraid to use the ball straight away.
Are we also seeing, Phil, in the new rule introduced this year, where you don't have to have a marker, but you do have to play the ball back? Are we seeing a speed up in the play of the balls and therefore a quickening of the game?
It is. I don't think the tackle players are so worried about the player getting up and tapping it forward because he's not allowed to. That means we're getting less holding down, quicker play the balls, and it's good for the speed of the game.
Well, Kelvin Jeffs is not the most popular man here at Leichhardt Oval at the moment, I can tell you. The ball went back and picked up from Glenn Morrison. Kelvin Jeffs saw it another way. He thought that it had been knocked on. And so it'll be field to feed the scrum on the halfway line, around about 15 metres in from touch. Tuvi brings Innes inside. Innes, another one of the players who really performed for Bob Fulton last year. Stepping, Gartner, put through the gap by Kosef, eventually brought down 30 metres out from the line. Sidaris from dummy half. He's put down by Morrison, a man of whom great things are expected. Field gets it out to Hill. Hill knocks on. It was cleaned up by Danny Moore.
I'll tell you what, both these sides have come to play tonight. There's plenty of talk out there on the field. Both sides very energetic, getting into position quickly, and side of possession looking to move the ball. The side defending, getting up quickly, trying to put pressure on them. We've only had 8 minutes going in this game so far, but you can see it's going to be very entertaining.
Brings the ball away. Gary Edwards plays it now, 30 metres out from his line. Brasher into the line, looking for space, goes out to the left, runs out of support. Gillette, Morrison, looks around, tried to offload, didn't use William Kennedy. Centre, brings in O'Neill. Gillette, Hanley, Gillette on the run around. Brasher looks out to the left. This is Edwards. He's put down by Menzies. This is the last tackle. Gillette will go to the air. Craig Hancock running back. It's his first real test, and he passes with flying colours.
Yeah, I think Gillette would have liked to have got that a little higher, give his chasers time to put some pressure on Hancock, not a recognised fullback. And certainly they'll be looking to give him some ball in the air tonight to test his mettle.
Also looking to test John Hopewati down there. Gee, we've only had 8.5 minutes gone so far, Jason Taylor, but there's some intensity out there.
Yeah, there certainly is, Eric. I think the way Balmain played that last set of 6 is what they want to be looking to do for the rest of the game. If they can control the ball and make sure they get to their kicks, they're going to keep themselves into this game. If they turn the ball over, as they did a couple of times earlier, they're going to make it very hard for themselves.
Very interesting, this combination of Field and Tuvi at the early stages. They're mixing their game up at half and 5'8", alternating, and also half and hooker in their own half of the field. Both spend time at dummy half. Very interesting. I don't know if they've trained that way or Bob Fulton's just left it to the two out there to fill in as they see fit. But as I said, very experienced players, and their combination's got a long way to go and a lot of games to forge that combination.
Morrison, it is, who'll bring the ball back to the 20-metre line. And I was going through the statistics, Phil, for the start of this new season and tried to update Glenn Morrison's. I noticed that he'd put on about 7 or 8 or 9 kgs over the summer.
Yeah, well, he was obviously working as a policeman in his previous years since coming into grade football, and he's now a full-time professional footballer, and that has given him the extra training time. And I think it was on the footy show during the week, he said that he put on 7 or 8 kilos, and as I said earlier in the game, that strength and size will give him a lot of confidence. He looks more of a first-grade footballer now, more of a first-grade footballer's body shape.
Well, the penalty's gone to the Tigers. Shane Walker with a great run up the left-hand side. Tuvi arguing the toss with referee Kelvin Jeffs.
Big thing for Balmain tonight is to be patient. They're up against a very, very good defensive unit, and I mean, you can put your best attacking play on and still come up empty, and you've got to make sure that doesn't frustrate you into trying things you haven't practiced or trying